Welcome back to another episode of Last One y Nos Vamos. Just kidding. Welcome back to another episode of Last One y Nos Vamos. I had to start it that way, Lenchito. I had to start it that way because como dijimos last week, íbamos a hacer spookies.
Yes, welcome
Spooky
to
stories.
October.
Welcome to October. First week of October, no?
Así es, Margarita.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh. But yes, guys, so I am Margarita and we have
Margarita calls me Lenchito.
Lenchito, and you can find us on social media. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram. You can also find us now on
Spotify, Apple Audio, and Google Audio.
So just in case if you don't want to see our beautiful faces, you can go on Spotify.
Deja. Aquí yo soy el vampiro.
Yes, sir. Okay, so a lo que vinieron, right? It's spooky season. I can't wait until it starts getting cold so I can put on a little blanket right here. Just acurrucarme un poquito and say scary stories.
No, así vas a dormir a todos.
Va a dormir. Ay, no, qué a gusto. I can't wait. So drop it down in the comments, guys. Any favorite movies? Any favorite spooky songs? What's your favorite like spooky movie? Do you have a spooky movie? A favorite spooky
movie?
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't even remember Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice. And una cuando estaba de 9 años.
¿Cuál?
Sixth Sense.
That one spooked me, but then when I got, oh no, it's still spooky. Yeah, it is spooky.
You wouldn't watch that right now.
I would.
Overnight.
During the day, yes. I'll watch. Okay, yeah, my favorite ones are the Disney was like Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town, pretty much I think almost all of the cute little spooky movies because I can't do spooky. But yeah, guys, comment down below your favorite song, your favorite movie, and let's get right into it. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I want to start off by telling a spooky story that happened to me. And
you have a spooky story?
Yeah, guys. And, before I even get into it, I know I keep going around and around about it, but if you guys have any spooky stories, if anybody wants to share any spooky stories or even, I don't know, just send us your spooky stories either on Instagram. So I want to share a little story. A little spooky story. I'm sure we almost everyone has a little story, a little spooky story that they can tell. But here goes mine. So when I was little, I would always scare my sister, my little sister. Well, she's not really little. She's like 2 years younger than me. And I think it was like around, I want to say we were most likely in elementary school. Sometime in elementary school, we used to sleep in the same bed. We used to share rooms, share the same bed. So we were pretty close. So we were together all the time. But me, being the older sister, I would always taunt her. I would always try to scare her, and she didn't like it, of course, because at night, and one night, we ended up going to bed. Like it was time to go to bed. I don't even think I scared her that one night.
It's a routine for you.
Yeah, it was kind of like a routine when I would always scare her, but that night I didn't scare her that night. So we were already in bed, we were quiet, and all I hear her is she was like, Margaret, or I don't know if she called me Margaret right back then, but she was like, Margaret, stop pulling my hair. And I was like, oh, haha, oh, sí, cómo no. Like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's just pulling my leg right now. She's just trying to scare me. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything. And then she tells me again. I remember she tells me again. She's like, Margaret, stop pulling my hair. But now this time she was being serious. Like this time she was actually upset that I was, quote unquote, pulling on her hair. And then after that, like, make it like I was just freaking scared.
Right.
But I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty short story, but I'm just like, what in the world? But here's the crazy thing. In that house, a lot of my family members, like where I used to live, they had a lot of paranormal experiences from people being levitated.
What the hell?
Yes, from being levitated from
a bed.
From their bed, from seeing the, and I don't want to say it, from seeing that.
That's scary, huh?
Yeah, and just seeing like a bunch of paranormal stuff, seeing ghosts and different stuff. But here's the funny thing. Well, I guess the funny thing, not so funny at that time, but there was a cemetery, like pretty much our backyard. well, not our backyard. You were able to see the cemetery from our house.
Okay.
Yeah, you were able to see the cemetery from our house, and we knew a lady that her backyard was
the cemetery
was a cemetery. Literally, like you would
no.
just like, oh, hey, future neighbors. So, and she had told us she told us a bunch of stories that happened at her house too,
right.
And no, but yeah, I mean, I won't. I'll probably just tell one more story, and then you can jump onto yours. So,
but I have something to say on that story, and I think maybe you guys haven't realized it. Mm-hmm. What if your house was basically underneath it? The cemetery was there.
You know what's funny? We would think we're laughing right now, but I'm not kidding. I think we think that maybe it was a cemetery there, because you know how sometimes they do exhume the bodies to move them somewhere else or whatever. But I mean, I highly doubt they moved everybody, but a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stories from that house.
Still, that's really what I would think, just because, if there's already cemetery nearby, your next neighbor, your back neighbor has a cemetery.
Yeah, not my back neighbor. She lived like a couple blocks away from us, but we were still able to see the cemetery.
Towards the cemetery?
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying your neighbor used to live like towards the cemetery?
Not towards, it was literally like her barda, her fence, and then the cemetery.
And then you were like more towards the left side?
Yeah, I think, it was more like más para atrás.
Nah, but because you guys used to have a wash around there too, right?
Yeah, we did. Oh yeah, so you would pretty much cross the walk, like whenever, like we were able to take the wash, to walk through the wash to get to her house. So that's how close it was.
Oh.
Yeah. And one more little story. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just get so... No?
Like, you've never seen anything? Nothing that comes up in your mind right now? Like, that you experienced maybe?
That I experienced at the house?
Like something falling.
Not something falling.
A light coming on.
Not a light coming on, but me personally, no. Like anything like that, no. But I do remember one time I was sitting on the couch in the living room, and on the couch where I was sitting at, it was next to one of the windows. And it just happened so quick, because you know how you see something, from the corner of your eye, you're able to see something.
Yeah.
So I was just chilling on the couch, and then next thing you know, I just see something like just go by really fast, just like really quick. And then I was like, oh, like I checked, and there was nothing there. But then it happened again. It was, and it was just like, it was white. So I'm like, what could it have been? It could have been a bird. Don't even start. No, not that. See, look at me over here trying to get my comfort pillow. I don't even know why I'm talking about this stuff. I'm such a chicken. No, pero it happened twice. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, maybe it could have been a bird, maybe whatever, but I'm pretty sure that by then there was already talks about stuff going on at the house.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, I have another one, but I'm like, I'll just wait until next week. Is that the second
part of the scary story? It still has to do with the house.
Yeah, it still has to do with the house. No, there's another one with the lady from that house, but I'll wait until next time.
Ooh, yes. Suspense.
Yes, guys, tell your spooky stories. I'm probably terrible at telling spooky stories, but maybe we can. I don't know. I'm just so excited about this because the first time I get to do it.
Oh, oy.
Okay, dale. But I'll hand it over to you. What do you got for us?
Hand it over to me. I don't know. What can you call spooky? I think anything for me is just out of the norm. Out of the norm is just something to think about as crazy, not being spooky. Maybe once you start putting everything in perspective, you're like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. Like, I really had a neighbor that had a cemetery next to around me. Yeah. So I think that's really what throws me off. So have you heard of Melody Falciano Johnson?
No.
You haven't heard about her, and this is recently.
No.
So her husband, he was a wingman. Mm-hmm. So,
a wingman?
A wingman. So he was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. I thought wingman, like, my bro. I'm going to be my bro's wingman.
No. He was basically part of the Air Force because he was a wingman, actually, from planes. So he basically was drinking coffee one time, and he felt like his coffee tasted kind of funny. A little bit more bitter than what coffee would taste with, no creamer in it. So he was like, what the heck? What's going on?
He converted into wine.
No. That'd be kind of cool, but you're going to offend everybody that likes those cup of jokes now.
Hold on. Can I say one more thing?
What was
Have
that?
you seen from Bruce Almighty when he parts the coffee in the middle? Or was it soup? Maybe it was soup. Never mind.
I don't remember.
Sorry, that's just my brain. Go ahead.
So like I was saying, Melody, her husband, he basically one day was sipping on a cup of Joe, and he felt like it tasted funny. A little bit more bitter than, coffee without any creamer. So he was drinking this coffee for about 3 weeks. He still felt kind of funny about it. Like, this tastes kind of weird. So then one day he decided to check the water from the faucet. So he checks it with, anything that can be contaminated. So he grabs, his little kid, he checks it, and no, the water from the faucet was more holy than holy water. So it was pretty clean. So then all of a sudden, what is the next thing you think he checked?
The coffee? To see if it was bad?
Yeah, so he checks his coffee pot because he loved his cup of Joe so much. So he did, and bang!
I wait! Oh my!
Basically,
I'm over here listening intently. Oh, I hate you.
So you guys, he basically found what he needed. So yes, guys, he found what he needed.
I hope you guys didn't get as spooked as I. Go ahead.
So yes, found what he needed. So yes, he found a positive sign on his kit as the coffee pot having contamination. So he then decided...
Contamination of what?
Of a poison, basically. So this kid finds anything that will be bad for you, basically. So it's, any contamination. He basically used his kid to figure it out where it was coming from, and it was from his coffee pot.
Also, he had a
kit.
A kit that pretty much detected if there was any contamination.
Yeah, any contamination. So he decided to then be like faking his wife that he was still drinking it for several months, all the way until June. So he was drinking the coffee and making his wife every day, making this coffee for him. And he couldn't say anything to the authorities because at this time they were deployed in Germany. So they were in Germany, and he didn't want to tip her off, and he didn't want to make the case in Germany. So he knew that when June came, he was going to basically come back to the States, and he was going to be, guess where? In Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, shout out to Tucson.
So yes, they basically bring him to base in Tucson, Arizona. And it took him a little bit to get a home because he was in the hotel when they barely, brought him back to the States. Once he got to an actual home, he started putting cameras in his home.
Oh, that's smart.
To try and catch his wife.
That's freaking smart.
But guess what?
What?
When he made the report, it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough evidence?
It wasn't enough
for
evidence.
Attempted murder?
Correct. And the reason being is because he basically did show his wife pouring something into his coffee pot, but the authorities said that's not enough evidence.
Because it could have been anything, right? Like he could...
No. So they really needed for him to put more cameras and find out what kind of poison she was pouring into the coffee pot to basically say, okay, it's coming from her.
God dang.
So that's how bad you need your video cameras around your house, guys. If you guys want to plead a case here.
I'm gonna look through every single corner. I'm gonna find all your little cameras.
So yeah, it took them another try to go back home and put, more cameras, and she was finally arrested the next day. So that's a spooky story, but then again, crazy story.
What was it contaminated with? Like, what kind of poison did they ever find out?
I don't want to say that because I don't want to give, any type of ideas out there.
Oh, to any people who are trying to copy it? Yes. But people are going to look it up anyway.
Pues sí, pero no lo escucharon aquí from last when he nos vamos.
I guess you're right. See, I'm just like, ¿qué le echó? Like, was it rat poison? Was it, what is it, antifreeze? I'm over here giving ideas.
Como tú digas.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so not every spooky story has to be scary. Meaning it shook you out of your seat like you earlier.
You know what? As you were telling this story, I was trying to listen attentively, but then still be aware that another bam is going to come out. You got me on that one because I was just I was trying to, when it's a serious situation, I always laugh or, probably make a joke in the most unnecessary times.
Yeah,
at the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess you can say.
Well, hopefully you guys like this criminal type of story. Was basically putting a twist to it with a little bang in there for you guys could have got shooken out of your seat.
It reminds me of you've watched The Sixth Sense. You said you liked that movie, right?
Correct.
You remember well, of course you watched it. So for those of you who haven't watched the movie, do you want to tell the part? You go ahead and tell it.
No, well, this movie is
that
pretty
correlates
old.
with your story.
You know that movie was made in 1999. So back in 2019, 20-year anniversary, they remade it. I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, they made it high definition. But
the same movie.
Yeah, same movie. It's just more better quality.
Yeah. Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
See, now I'm thinking about The Sixth Sense and I want to put my feet up because there's a little gap right here. So I'm just like, someone's going to...
Yeah. No, pues sí. Basically, at that movie, if you guys haven't seen it, this kid has a sixth sense that he's able to see people that are dead.
People who have passed on.
And it could be at any time. It could have a case that was from a long period of time. Or, when they're driving, there's a car accident. Yeah. Same thing.
So, yeah, he's able to, pretty much just, not predict, but...
No, he sees them. And he basically, at the end of the movie, I don't know if we should spoil it for them.
No, don't spoil it.
So, yeah, pretty much is that the kid is able to see, his sixth sense is basically to see dead people or people that have passed away. And yes, I told Margarita about it. There's a scene almost identical to this.
To the story you just told?
Yes. And, I was like, what if a lot of people got the idea from that movie? Because it has been happening a lot lately.
You know what I was thinking? Did they say why? Okay, well, finishing off with the movie, pretty much talking about the movie, where I guess that, if whoever gets to watch it, there was a very similar story to the one that you said. So going back to your story about the fella with the cup of joe, did they say the motive? Like, what was the reason why she was
I guess back in Germany, they have filed for divorce. So that was part of the motive. They didn't give into detail, like why, if she didn't want to get divorced or maybe they had a situation going on, yes.
Well, because, military folks, they're very well taken care of.
Bueno, si tú dices.
Possibly. Well... Now that you're talking about the the sixth sense, do you know what a medium is?
Yeah,
a medium?
Yeah, same thing. They can speak to the dead.
Yeah, they can. They don't speak to them. They just communicate with them. So pretty much what a medium does, they communicate. Yeah, like you said, they communicate with those who have passed, and they pretty much just relay messages to the human beings, to the living. So, do you know who is Teresa and Tyler Henry? Just some, I don't know. I'm just saying some of the famous mediums. Have you heard of them?
I'm not really looking into medium like that, so no.
No?
I mean, I've heard of people talk about mediums and mediums and stuff, but me actually looking into it, no.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Do you believe in it, or do you feel like
I believe in it?
Yeah, I do too. I feel like it's really interesting. Like, and it just like with the whole sixth sense, they have that sixth sense because they're able to communicate with those who have passed, and it's just like with Tyler. Because like sometimes I will like I don't think people ever really wonder, like they're so famous but they never wonder like, okay, how did they get their ability, or like when did they notice that they had that ability, right? So he said that when he was a young kid, that a psychic pretty much told him like, hey, when you grow up, you're going to have your own TV show, and he has it. I don't know if he still has his own TV show, but he had his own TV show.
Right.
And he gives readings to mainly celebrities. But a lot of people don't believe him because they're like, oh, well, they're celebrities, so it's really easy to look up any information. So like if somebody's puppy died, or, someone or something, like it's easy to look it up, especially if they're famous, because, they have, just Google.
Right.
So I feel like I do. There might be some people who probably fake it.
I mean, yeah.
Just so that they can get money out of it.
There's always going to be good and bad and everything, for sure. But now the plot twist to that, now that you're about the medium with the sixth sense, well, the movie basically explains like maybe why they got that ability to do it. So guys, go watch the movie if you're really into the medium.
Did they?
Yeah.
They did? Okay, I didn't catch that part. I need to go back and watch it. No, but
I mean, that's part of it. Obviously, it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, that's why they have it. But I mean, the way they said the story or they gave the plot, it was like, okay, it's believable. Like, for sure, maybe they did get that for that reason, you know? And it'd be kind of interesting. I mean, you're basically helping community who wants to be helped, because some people don't like that stuff, or they don't want to be involved onto it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I believe in it. I believe in it, and I've seen the shows, and you can tell when somebody's being genuine in their reaction, just like you scared me earlier. I'm just kidding. No, you can seriously feel like, how is someone just going to start crying? Yeah, people can be good actors, but there's certain things that like you probably can't even find in the internet. So it's like, how did you obtain this information? Yeah, you can go and ask the family members, but you can tell that, their reactions are genuine. And it's nice. It's nice to be able, for those who really want to see, maybe they need some closure. They're still grieving for years and years, and they're able to get closure by just hearing their loved one like telling them, hey, it's okay, I'm okay, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And that will be able to find them peace.
Yeah, because there's some people that will want to open that door. Yeah.
Because you know how they say, I mean, I don't know if you've heard this before, but they said that your loved ones aren't at peace if you aren't at peace. So if you're still always thinking about them, and pretty much just that. Like, if you're not at peace, they're not at peace.
Well, I heard the other part of it too, that they're not in peace because they didn't finish something they wanted to finish.
Yeah, and like they were still working. I mean, it's just
energies.
It's just energies. It's just a really big mystery, and it's something that science hasn't been able to prove. Maybe there's certain things, like you said, like energy. Science is energy is science, but I do believe it. I really do believe that, there's hay otro más allá,
Right.
Especially like with, I've had my own experiences of, I don't know about seeing the dead, but dreaming the dead. Well, actually, you know how they say that maybe some spirits that not se aparecen, but se revelan with other people. Because remember that one time that we were at church, el día de la resurrección?
Right, yes.
Yeah, so one time, guys, I era el día de resurrección. Oh, the day of the resurrection, the day that Jesus resurrected. We were going to church, but before getting to church, I didn't want to go to church. I was just like, oh, like it's gonna be hot. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be long. And I just wasn't in the best mood. So when it's time to get the body of the Christ, the blood and body of the Christ, I just look up. And there's this little old lady that looked exactly like my grandma, my dad's mom.
Right.
She had her little glasses. Remember I told you, like, she had her little glasses. She had her little skirt. It was like if I was looking at my grandma. Mm-hmm. And I literally just start crying. And I was like, and I think after that, like I called my dad, I called my mom, and I was just crying. But the thing is that, like, why me? Like why me if I was never close to her? I mean, I was a kid. Was I a kid? I think I was. I think I was still in elementary school when she passed away. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I ever really developed a close relationship with her, because a lot of the time I've said it before that I spent a lot of time with my mom's side of the family.
Was she like in Mexico most of the time too?
In Mexico? Mm-hmm. I don't really know that. No. Mm-mm. I know my dad's side of the family spends a lot of time in Mexico, but yeah, that was crazy.
But nothing that can come up to your head, like, why you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, why me? Because it's not the first time it's happened. I think that was the first.
In a situation like this, that's like they have it's a manifestation.
Yeah, I guess they manifest or se te revela. I guess so, right? I don't know what to call it, but comment down below, guys. Comment down below or share if you guys have ever experienced anything like that before.
And I was there to witness it.
He was there to witness it. Was I just crying? I was just there crying, right? Like, you just look down, you're like, what the heck was wrong with her?
Nah, tampoco not like that. But I was just like, because I think this was like one of the first times that I randomly cry. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it was just, kind of... It was kind of weird on the moment that it happened. That's why.
Because you couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And did I ever point her?
Because people were basically standing up and walking, so it was just like,
yeah.
Okay. Like,
did I ever point her out to you?
Yeah.
I did, huh? Mm-hmm. Did I ever show you a picture of her?
No.
No, but yeah. May she rest in peace. I hope that maybe, I don't know, because sometimes I feel like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like whenever that happens, like they come to you so that you can tell whoever it is that, I guess the closest to you, which will be my dad, that maybe he needed some closure.
Right.
Because I know my grandma, I honestly don't know what happened to her, but I just know that she was really sick and, she passed. But maybe my dad needed that.
Yeah.
And I told him, and he's the only one that I told, like my mom and my close family members that I told. And now everybody here. And another time, like another time that happened was with your dad after he passed away, remember? And I think I've told this story already on the podcast before, where like I was dreaming him for like a whole week straight. And then I don't know, maybe I needed to share it with you. Like maybe you needed some closure, or I don't know. Because you were, during that time, you were far away.
Yes.
You were really far away.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. Well, that's the backstory of it, guys. If you guys don't really believe where the backstory about it is, that I wasn't here in California. I was gone when my dad passed away. I wasn't here. I guess that's why he maybe was manifesting to you for a whole week. Because I don't think you told me. What? I don't think you told me like the next day. Like it took you a couple of days to tell me.
That I was dreaming your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I had to tell you because it was like every single day that I was dreaming about him.
That's what I mean. Like you didn't tell me like the next day or the following day. You told me after like 4 times that you probably dreamed about him. And you were like, oh, I've been dreaming. And after that, it basically stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, after I told you, that's when it stopped. So maybe your dad was trying to tell me like, hey, tell him that, I don't know, tell him something. I don't know, tell him that you're dreaming me or something. But like, I remember one of the, I can't remember what the other dreams, maybe you remember what I told you what it was. But I remember that one time we went to their house, and when I shook his hand, you know how, I would always shake his hand. But I remember that, like, I remember clearly right now, even thinking about it right now, that like I felt his hand. Like when I shook his hand. But that's the thing, honey, like I didn't have a close relationship with your dad.
Yeah,
like true. It was cool. Like we would always, we would ahí todos juntos, we would all chat, but I never developed a really close relationship
pero
with
bien
him.
Que te rías de sus jokes.
Ay, but he,
Porque
he
lo miras bien serio como yo, and then he would just crack a joke once in a while.
You guys are definitely like serious, bien serios, but you guys crack your jokes. Can I tell my other one? So I'm telling you, like, I think I do have a sixth sense, but I mean, I don't think it's like a sixth sense that I want to have. But the thing is, it doesn't scare me. Like, I didn't feel scared or anything because it wasn't anything bad. Yeah. Like with my and I've told it in another podcast.
You feel peace on yourself.
I do, and it's nice because like even when like my uncle passed away. When one of my uncles passed away, same thing. Like I kept dreaming him, and pretty much after I told them, like I stopped dreaming him. After I told my cousins, like, hey, like I had a dream about your dad. Like I keep dreaming about him, so I just thought I'd let you know. So I'm like, I'm a medium. Yeah. No, maybe that's and again, I didn't have a close relationship with my uncle.
Right.
He was funny fella. He was a good time, but I didn't have a close relationship with him.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's just the energy. The energy you've been having lately, and they're like, oh, she's all grown up, she's able to communicate with people now, let me go ahead and touch her, and for she can communicate to my relatives.
I know, that's crazy. And not only that, but like not only like the whole just dreaming them, but also dreaming that like when somebody is gonna pass away. And that's something that mediums do too. Like they're able to sense. So like that Tyler guy, he said that when he was little, that's when he first had an encounter where he knew like he had this ability. Because he said that one day he woke up in the morning and he kind of like he already knew that his grandma was going to pass away.
Right.
And then I guess he had told his mom, like, oh mom, like we have to go say goodbye to my grandma. And as they were leaving, his mom gets the call like, hey, your mom or, grandma has passed away. Yeah. But I mean, I've had those situations happen too. And it's weird because like, even like you don't want to be dreaming something and it's like, oh my gosh, like something's going to happen.
No, like that situation that you dream like people pass away.
Yeah. Not that was it passing away? Oh yeah. Yeah. That one was trippy. Like, that story about when my grandpa and my uncle passed, that one was trippy.
And you did it with my dad too.
With your dad too?
Yeah, because I think you dreamed that time, or during that time, or at the beginning, that there was three
caskets.
No,
that was with my uncle and my grandpa. Yeah, with
but
my
I
uncle.
remember you said something my dad, unless it was the dream one that you were just dreaming him.
No, with your dad, it was just that I was dreaming him. With my uncle and my grandpa, I had a dream. I want to say that week that I had a dream about 2 caskets. Yeah. And next thing you know, they pass. Yeah. But I mean, that one, maybe it's a coincidence not a coincidence because, they were sick and maybe it was something that was in the back of my mind, or maybe, I don't think I never thought about it because, you never think about that, maybe something bad's going to happen. I never thought that anything bad was going to happen. Right. But, it just happened. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you could probably be what?
A medium.
No,
or a psychic. No, I don't know. It hasn't happened again. After that, I've had dreams of like people passing away. Oh, those are just the worst feelings ever. Like one time I had a dream. Remember I told you that I had a dream that had passed? A long time ago. I didn't tell you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I called her. I was like, it was like in the middle, and I was like, I had a dream you died, and then she was like, I can't remember what she said, but I was just crying.
She said, "Tauruga, Margarita."
She was like, "Como eres mensa." No,
well,
but that's
crazy.
crazy.
That is super crazy. I think I haven't really shared my energies with you on my past of my family, but one of them that you definitely know is me being a mago, a brujo sometimes. When sometimes I say something that happens.
I need to like...
Well, this is the thing. I have one for you, and I don't remember if I told you about it just recently. This just happened basically this week, guys. And I was basically being serious. You know me. I'm very serious when I say something. You know, I'm like, oh, watch, this is going to happen. And sure enough, it happens.
Don't Bambi, okay?
No,
Brace yourself, guys.
No, well, you know, saludos al samurai. Al Zamora.
Hey, Zamora, felicidades.
Yes. So the story goes that, you know, guys, he's waiting for his visa, meaning waiting because this was back past tense, waiting for his visa. And, you know, with the transition, he was getting emails saying that it was pretty much close for him to just to receive it. But technically speaking, this just happened last week. So on Tuesday, when I saw him, he was being funny about the situation because he was like, hey, are you going Saturday to Mexico? And he basically was giving me a full story that he was already going. But I didn't really think about it as like, oh, he got his, you know, visa already. But the way he was telling me, it seemed pretty natural. So I was like, he's like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going. And I was like, oh, like, you know, but like, I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know yet. You know, I can't tell you for sure if yes or no. He's like, nah, don't believe me. I can't go yet. I haven't received it. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I was just like, okay. Like, I didn't think about his situation. He's like, no, it's just that, you know, they're still going, but I can't yet. So that day, I was like, all right, you want to make fun? You want to be the funny guy? Watch, I'm going to make you be laughing now. And I was like, well, you never know. By tomorrow, Wednesday to Saturday, you might get your visa.
Lenchito!
And he was like, nah, it's too soon. I was like, well, you never know what can happen. Maybe. And, you know, I'm saying it already just the same way I tell you. The same way that I tell you all the time, like, oh, this is going to happen. The same way I do that, I was doing it to him, like thinking about it at the same time that, you know, I was telling him, like very right to the point and like almost like feeding the energy to it. So I was like, well, you never know. Maybe they sent you it out already, but you received that email just, you know, later than expected. He's like, nah. Well, guess what? The next day he receives it and he's like, I'm going to Mexico.
Oh so, my gosh.
Para que vean que yo soy medio mago brujo.
Reach out to him, guys. If you want Lenchito to manifest something for you guys, hit him up.
No, it doesn't work that way with me.
It just happens like...
It has to come out natural. Like my energy has to be there and I have to be just like very settled and, calm, you know, just be like a normal talk. Holy. But at the same time with a... like almost with a, you know, a light lean, just like I'm thinking about it and putting a lot of energy to it as well.
That's how they say that manifesting works, that you have to put in your energy and you have to put yourself, like if it's already happening, like you're like if you're already there, like let's say I want to be a basketball player. I am a basketball player and I have a game at blah 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 time. I don't know, just making it like if it's already there. Yeah,
like you're going through it at the moment.
Yeah.
And that does happen with me with money too.
It does.
Margarita can tell you on that one.
It's freaking crazy. I'll let you tell your story, but
we'll leave it for another episode.
Time. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Que se den una vista que aquí tienen su mago.
Un mago pa maguito. The hard eyes again. Click, 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 click. But yeah, that's freaking crazy. You know what's even crazier? going back to like spooky stuff. What would you do if you were talking to someone? Let's say that we were having a conversation right now that I just came out of nowhere, like, hey, Lechito, how's it going? All right, wait, hey, well, you know what? I gotta go, and I'll see you later, okay? I'll see you soon. Well, the reason why I tell you is because there was a video that went viral where this guy, he's at work. It looks like it's at nighttime. He's at work. He's welding something. And then next thing you know, like he sees somebody come up. So he starts talking to him. He's like, oh, hey, like, hey, what's up? How's it going? You know, they're chatting it up. But mind you, there's security cameras.
Right.
So the security camera caught this whole interaction going on. Mind you, in the camera, there's nobody there. So he's interacting with this person. Like you can tell, like he's kind of like, I don't know, look, he's
basically in the camera. It shows like he's interacting by himself.
Yeah, it looks like he's talking to himself. So he's talking to himself, but on the camera se ve una luz. I don't know if you've seen what's it called? The Haunted Mansion, where there's like a little como un lucero.
Like Tinkerbell, like Tinkerbell,
kind of like Tinkerbell type of thing, but it's just like a bright ball of light.
The orb, can I say orb?
Yeah, like an orb. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it was an orb, and but I guess he ended up like I told you earlier, he ends up finding out that this person had passed away at his home. So how freaking insane that you saw this person, but there was nobody there.
Right.
And the camera wasn't able to capture it, but the little light. What is it? A soul? Or what is it, like soul or a spirit? Was it a spirit? Maybe a spirit?
It depends what you believe in.
Yeah.
Because some people would just be like, it's just the camera was dirty, you know. But for some people, it's like, oh, yeah, I do believe it. I've seen orbs before.
Yeah.
And for example, for that, like I think about it more as like, what if that orb or that spirit, it's only enough for our energy to connect with them and be able to see them. And the camera, I'm not saying that we don't have, that we have a better eye than a camera, maybe, or maybe we do. I don't know. But maybe the camera can see it because the energy is not big enough.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, how do you explain that? Like, how do you explain that? Like, oh yeah, I saw this person. Scientifically speaking, how do you explain that? But I guess it takes it back to the energy and the relationship that this person had with this coworker.
Especially because, like, let's say for example, like if you tell me that story, right, I'm gonna believe you because I have a good connection with you. So like if you go with somebody else and they don't believe you, well, hey, it is what it is. It's okay. But you know, like I don't think I will need a reaction from someone to make it what I believe. Yeah. Because like if I am able to communicate with somebody that I have a connection with, I think you'll feel it and you'll be like, oh shit, he's being serious about it, you know?
Yeah. But that's crazy. I mean, it's nice. Like, again, I don't know. I don't know how I would react to it.
It's like Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I don't know how I would react to it, though. Because one thing is dreaming it. Yeah, no, I know I'll never know. But one thing is dreaming it. Like if you have a scary dream, it's like, oh my gosh, thank God it was a dream. I'm glad I didn't lose my teeth. Like I had my teeth.
Sometimes you get those flashbacks and you're like, what the heck? Did I dream this? Or did it really happen? Or like something happens that reminds you and you're like, oh shoot, I think like, you know, I've been in deja vu, but no.
I know. Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. Not insane. It's just crazy. It's just, there's really no explanation as to how that happens and why you know?
Correct. So with that one, I think we wrap it up for the last one, Nos Vamos topic. And I guess we can tell people to comment down below and see what type of stuff they believe in. We hit a couple, you know, with energy, cameras, looking, orbs, with people talking to some other people. A ver qué nos dice nuestra gente.
Yes, guys, drop down. We want to hear your stories. Please go into our Instagram or we'll try to figure out maybe for the next episode if they can email us their stories.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't want to give out the email too much because you guys already know with these scammers. But pues a ver cómo la hacemos for you guys to be able to communicate with us for the coming up weeks. This is going to be October Spooky Podcast as much as we can. And again, guys, thank you for subscribing.
Like, comment, and subscribe. He already said that. And stay spooky.
Sheesh. Bueno, ahí nos vemos. Hasta la próxima.
Hasta luego.
Peace.